Previously in the Frontier Archives, humanity's last frontier peacekeeper, Zandor Ironheart, answered a mysterious distress signal from the forgotten world of Kheros. There, he discovered the peaceful Ashari, whose crystal civilization had survived in secret for generations while the Dominion prepared to claim the planet. Guided by the living mountain, Zandor uncovered the first traces of the long-lost builders, an ancient civilization whose greatest legacy was never power, but the preservation of life, memory, and hope. As the Dominion occupation tightened around Kheros, the mountain awakened and called its guardian home. The recovered record continues. Scene 22. The legacy begins. Every civilization leaves behind monuments. The greatest civilizations leave behind questions. Frontier Archives, Archaeological Records.
The Frontier Archives. Recovered audio log entry 016. Classification declassified. Archive reference Faye Awk 016. Location Western Crystal Mountains. Planet Kheros. Event the first morning after the awakening. Status verified. Historical record.
Morning returned to Kheros. Not as another sunrise, but as the first dawn of a different age. The eastern sky slowly brightened beyond the crystal peaks, washing the shattered valleys with pale gold light. Long shadows stretched across broken forests, where towering crystal trees had stood only yesterday. The fires had almost burned themselves out. Thin columns of smoke drifted into the cool mountain air. For the first time since the Dominion fleet crossed the heavens, nothing exploded. No Dominion dropships crossed the sky. No orbital lances carved rivers of fire through the clouds. No warning cries echoed between the mountains. Only silence, not the silence of fear, the silence that follows a question too large for anyone to answer. The Ashari had never feared silence before. Silence had always belonged to Kheros. It lived within the forests, flowed beside the rivers, and rested upon the mountains beneath the light of two moons. But this silence was different. It carried memory. Yesterday, the Dominion had come to conquer another forgotten world. Yesterday, the Ashari believed they understood the home their ancestors had protected for generations. Yesterday, Zandor Ironheart believed he had come only to defend innocent people from an impossible enemy. Yesterday, everything they believed had changed. Today, Kheros had begun revealing the truth. The crystal storm had vanished with the night, yet its passing had transformed the planet. Blue rivers of living light pulsed beneath the mountains. Crystal formations glowed softly from within, as though invisible sunlight flowed beneath their surfaces. The forests shimmered with colors no Ashari painter had ever captured. The rivers reflected symbols that disappeared the moment anyone tried to study them. Nothing looked repaired. Everything looked awakened. Across the western valley, survivors slowly emerged from shelters carved into the cliffs during the long night. Some carried tools, some carried blankets, many carried grief. Children who had hidden in silence only hours before cautiously stepped into the morning light, uncertain whether it was safe to laugh again. Parents gathered broken possessions from ruined homes. Elders embraced those who had lost family. No one spoke loudly. Even ordinary conversation felt out of place. The Festival of Two Moons had once filled these paths with music. Crystal lanterns had hung between the trees while children ran through the gathering circle. Now fragments of those lanterns lay scattered across the ground. Broken instruments rested where frightened hands had abandoned them during the bombardment. The Dominion had not merely attacked the Ashari, it had interrupted the rhythm of an entire civilization. Yet life refused to surrender. One family cleared fallen stone from a neighboring home before repairing their own. Another shared the last of its food with strangers. Young Ashari carried water to elders too exhausted to stand. No one ordered them. Compassion had survived the invasion. Perhaps that was why Kheros had chosen to protect them. Far beyond the valley, Dominion patrols watched from distant ridgelines. Black silhouettes stood motionless against the morning light. Their weapons remained lowered. Neither side advanced. Neither side fired. Both waited because neither understood what had awakened beneath Kheros.
It looks different.
Kyle stood beside Elder Karam, his eyes fixed upon the western peaks. The fear that had filled his voice the day before had changed. It had not disappeared. It had become curiosity.
It is different.
The old elder rested both hands upon his crystal staff. Morning light revealed how tired he truly looked. Ash clung to the hem of his robes. His hands trembled slightly, not from age, but from everything they had witnessed.
I have walked these mountains for nearly 80 years.
A faint smile touched his weathered face. Not because he understood what he saw, because he finally understood how little he truly knew.
And today, I understand I have never truly seen them.
The words drifted across the gathered refugees. No one answered. Every Ashari felt the same truth. Yesterday they had believed Kheros belonged to them. Today they wondered whether they had simply been its guests. A short distance away, Luma stood quietly apart from the others. She had not moved since sunrise. The singing crystal rested between her hands. It floated effortlessly within a soft halo of turquoise light. Its glow no longer flickered. It pulsed with remarkable precision, not randomly, like a heartbeat.
Has it been doing that all morning?
Yes,
It isn't making any sound.
it doesn't have to.
Kale circled slowly around the floating crystal. The light reflected across his face in shifting shades of blue and silver.
I still don't understand.
I don't either.
She smiled softly.
But I don't think it expects us to.
The crystal rotated slowly, one complete revolution, then another. Elder Karam watched in silence. Every lesson he had inherited and every fragment of builder history passed from one keeper to the next had spoken of crystals that sang. None had spoken of crystals that waited.
When did it begin floating?
Just before the sun came up.
And it hasn't stopped.
No, it doesn't want to touch the ground anymore.
Karam looked toward Zandor. The former peacekeeper stood near the edge of the ridge, studying the western mountains. Something about him seemed different. Part of his attention appeared fixed somewhere no one else could see.
He feels it too.
Feels what?
The same thing your crystal is following.
He's just looking at the mountains.
No, the mountains are looking back.
A strange stillness settled across the ridge. The breeze vanished. No leaves moved. No birds sang. The entire valley waited. Then the singing crystal brightened. Its turquoise glow expanded outward in a perfect sphere before collapsing back into itself. Every crystal formation within sight answered. One after another, tiny points of blue light awakened across the valley, the cliffs, and the distant peaks.
It's spreading.
It was not spreading. It had always been there. For the first time, they were able to see it. The western mountains answered. A single line of blue light appeared high upon the cliff face. Then another. Then hundreds more. Perfectly straight. Perfectly symmetrical. They crossed the stone with impossible precision. Not cracks. Not rivers. Patterns. There. Everyone followed his gaze. The mountains were changing, not breaking, opening.
Why couldn't we see them before?
I do not believe we were meant to.
The old elder stepped toward the edge of the ridge. His entire life had been devoted to preserving the oldest stories of the Ashari, stories many had dismissed as myth. Now those myths illuminated the mountains before his eyes.
Our oldest song spoke of sleeping light.
You mean the builders?
We never called them builders.
You didn't?
No, our ancestors called them the first keepers.
The first keepers.
They came before memory. They came before the Ashari. Our oldest stories said they built nothing.
But they built all of this.
No, they awakened it.
The word settled deeply within Zandor. Awakened, not constructed, not conquered, not owned. It was the same language the vault had used. Nothing the builders touched seemed newly created. Everything seemed remembered. A warm pulse spread beneath Zandor's boots. The sensation traveled upward through his damaged armor. The thin blue energy lines woven into the graphite plates brightened without command.
It's reacting.
To what?
I don't know.
But somewhere beneath thought he already knew. The mountains were not reacting to his armor. His armor was responding to the mountains. For a brief instant, images flashed across his mind. A city unlike anything he had ever seen. Crystal towers rising beneath unfamiliar constellations. Countless figures walking through halls of blue light. Knowledge flowing between them like music. Then darkness. An empty city. Silent corridors. Waiting.
I've seen this place.
What place?
I don't know.
The vision faded, but one certainty remained. Whatever waited beyond those cliffs had known him long before he came to Kheros. Luma opened her eyes. The singing crystal stopped rotating. For the first time since the awakening, it was no longer listening. It had found what it was waiting for.
It's ready.
What is?
The road.
The earth answered, not with violence, with movement, ancient movement. Stone shifted beneath stone. Crystal rose through crystal. Hidden mechanisms untouched for thousands of years began moving in perfect harmony. No grinding, no strain, only quiet precision. The vibrations spread beneath the valley like breathing. The Ashari stepped back. Children clung to their parents. No one ran. The mountain did not feel dangerous. It felt awake. Massive sections of the western cliff slid away from one another with impossible precision. Dust did not rise. Nothing collapsed. The mountain had not been broken open. It had chosen to open.
I've climbed that mountain.
So have I.
There wasn't anything there.
There was.
You said no one had ever seen it.
I did, and now we know why.
The mountains had not hidden their secrets. They had protected them. As the opening widened, a soft blue light spilled outward. It carried no heat, smoke, or radiation, only warmth. Zandor felt it travel through his armor and into him.
It's calling.
Who?
I don't know.
A soldier could face an enemy. A guardian could defend the innocent. But how did one answer a civilization that had vanished before recorded history? Without realizing it, Zandor took one step forward, then another.
Zandor?
He did not answer.
It knows him.
What does?
The road.
The singing crystal floated higher, its light merged with the blue glow spreading across the valley. Then the valley answered. One crystal after another awakened across cliffs, rivers, and forests. The landscape transformed. Yesterday, Kyle had seen mountains. Today, he stood inside a machine.
Kheros isn't just a planet.
No one corrected him, because no one could. Far above Kheros, Dominion reconnaissance satellites detected the change. Warning symbols flashed across tactical displays. Energy levels climbed beyond every previous reading. Automatic systems attempted to classify the phenomenon. Every calculation returned the same result. Unknown. Aboard the Oblivion Spear, silence had become more unsettling than battle. Every eye remained fixed upon the holographic projection of Kheros rotating above the command platform. The blue energy signatures were spreading, not outward, downward, deeper into the planet itself.
General,
Report.
the planetary resonance has increased another 12%.
12?
Yes, Commander.
The officer hesitated, not because he doubted the readings, but because he feared speaking them aloud.
It appears the activation is accelerating.
Vorak remained perfectly still. Behind the polished black visor, his understanding of the battlefield was changing. For the first time in decades, the Dominion had entered territory where military strength offered no certainty. Not because they lacked weapons, because they lacked understanding. General Vorak approached the central holographic display. Thousands of telemetry streams flowed across the image. Energy signatures, seismic readings, atmospheric disturbances. Every instrument reported the same impossible conclusion. The planet was not becoming unstable, it was becoming ordered.
General,
I see it.
our scanners indicate the energy is organizing itself.
That is impossible.
We believed so as well.
The science officer enlarged one section of the planetary scan. Blue pathways spread beneath continents, mountain ranges, and oceans in perfect geometric precision. Not one terminated, not one overlapped incorrectly. The entire planetary network behaved as though someone had designed it.
We originally believed these were isolated builder ruins.
Hundreds of connected structures appeared across the display. Each had been dormant only hours before. Each was now returning to life.
We were wrong.
How wrong?
They are not ruins. They are components
Components.
of something much larger.
Vorak stared at the holographic world not as a commander, but as a student. For the first time in decades, the Dominion had found knowledge it could not conquer.
Continue observing.
No assault?
No, we advance only after we understand.
Had Vorak ordered another bombardment that morning, history might have unfolded very differently. Far below, Zandor stood before the awakened pathway. Blue light flowed beneath its transparent surface in slow, rhythmic pulses. Years of peacekeeper training urged caution. Every instinct warned him that unknown technology should never be approached carelessly. Yet every instinct also told him the road was waiting.
Do you trust it?
I don't know.
Do you fear it?
Zandor considered the question longer than expected.
No,
Why?
because if it wanted to harm us, it had thousands of years to do so.
Karam smiled, not because the answer was certain, but because it was wise.
Our oldest teachings say the first keepers measured a civilization by the questions it asked.
Not the answers?
No, answers end journeys. Questions begin them.
The road pulsed once. A wave of blue light traveled from the mountains directly toward Zandor. It reached his feet and stopped. The crystal beneath him illuminated. Not around everyone, only around him.
It knows.
It remembers.
Zandor lowered one hand toward the glowing surface. He expected warmth. Instead, the crystal felt aware. The moment his fingertips touched the road, the entire valley answered. Across distant mountains, builder lights awakened one after another. Ancient towers, hidden beneath forests, briefly illuminated. Crystal rivers shimmered. Far beneath Kheros, machines that had waited for countless millennia acknowledged a single event. Guardian contact confirmed. Zandor took his first step. The road brightened beneath his boots. Then he took another. Each step awakened another section of the ancient pathway, not leading him, welcoming him. Behind him, the Ashari watched in complete silence. Before him, the western mountains slowly opened. Beyond them, the forgotten legacy of the builders waited, patient, silent, waiting for someone to finally come home. History remembers wars, empires, victories, defeats. The Frontier Archives remembers something else, the quiet moments, the decisions no one understood at the time, the first questions that changed everything. Because on that peaceful morning, history did not begin with a battle. It began with a single step upon a forgotten road. The first voices of the past are rarely words. They are echoes waiting for someone willing to listen. Frontier Archives, Builder Translation Records. No one followed immediately. The newly awakened road stretched into the mountains like a ribbon of living crystal. Its pale blue light reflected softly across the silent valley. Every step Zandor had taken still glowed beneath his boots, not fading, waiting. Behind him, the Ashari remained motionless. Some watched with curiosity, others with uncertainty. A few quietly knelt in prayer. Not because they feared the road, because they sensed they were witnessing something that would never happen again.
Should we go after him?
No one answered. The question hung in the cool mountain air.
I do not believe this road belongs to us.
But he shouldn't go alone.
The old keeper lowered his eyes.
I do not believe he is alone.
Those words unsettled everyone present, because they all felt the same thing. The mountains no longer felt empty. Zandor continued walking. The silence surrounding him was unlike anything he had experienced before. No insects, no birds, no wind. Even the sound of his own footsteps seemed strangely distant. Every movement was absorbed by the crystal beneath him, as though the road itself listened. The deeper he traveled, the older the mountains appeared. Crystal formations rose hundreds of meters above the pathway, some twisted naturally toward the sky. Others looked almost carved, not by tools, by purpose. Every few steps, the crystal beneath the pathway pulsed gently, not randomly. Each pulse traveled ahead of him, as though announcing his arrival.
I'm here.
The words escaped before he realized he had spoken them. He did not know who he was speaking to, only that remaining silent suddenly felt disrespectful. The pathway answered, not with language, with light. A gentle wave of blue illumination traveled away from him into the darkness ahead, far beyond the next bend, far beyond where his eyes could follow. Something had received the message. Far behind him, Elder Kheros watched the distant lights spread into the cliffs. He had spent nearly 80 years preserving stories that no longer seemed impossible. The first keepers, the sleeping roads, the singing mountains. Every legend had begun awakening one after another.
We remembered more than we realized.
For the first time in countless generations, the oldest stories of the Ashari were no longer history. They had become the present. The Crystal Road did not merely lead into the mountains, it disappeared into them. Every step carried Zandor farther from the world he understood and deeper into one that had waited beyond memory. Behind him, the voices of the Ashari slowly faded. Ahead, only silence remained. Not an empty silence, a listening silence. The pathway curved gently around towering crystal formations that rose from the mountainside like frozen waves. Morning sunlight passed through them in thousands of directions, filling the narrow valley with shifting blue and silver reflections. The light moved constantly, not because the crystals changed, because the road itself seemed to breathe. Zandor slowed. His peacekeeper instincts urged caution. Every unfamiliar environment demanded observation before movement. Every unknown structure could conceal danger. Yet nothing here resembled a battlefield. There were no defensive positions, no surveillance towers, no weapons, no signs that anyone had ever intended to fight.
You weren't soldiers.
His own voice surprised him. He had not intended to speak aloud, yet the thought refused to remain unspoken. The builders had mastered technology beyond anything humanity possessed. If conquest had been their purpose, the galaxy would never have resisted them. Instead, they had built roads, archives, places of learning. Questions began replacing assumptions. The road widened. Crystal pillars emerged from the stone in perfect intervals along either side of the pathway. Each pillar stood nearly twice Zandor's height. None carried writing, none displayed symbols. Their smooth surfaces reflected only the passing light. As Zandor approached the first pillar, its surface awakened. Blue light spread upward from its base in slow, concentric bands. The crystal did not illuminate because he touched it. It illuminated because it recognized he was there.
Recognition.
The word came naturally. His military training had taught him to recognize automated security systems. This felt similar, yet profoundly different. The builders were not verifying identity, they were acknowledging presence. One by one, every pillar farther along the road awakened, not simultaneously, sequentially. Each greeting passed to the next until the entire pathway shimmered softly into the mountains ahead. The road was introducing him. Far behind, Elder Kheros watched the distant lights spread into the cliffs. He had never seen such beauty, nor such sadness. For if these roads still remembered their guardians, how many centuries had they waited without one?
They never stopped believing.
Who?
The first keepers.
But they're gone.
Yes, and yet their hope remained.
Luma closed her eyes once more. The singing crystal floated quietly before her. Unlike yesterday, it no longer sang. It listened.
They know he's afraid.
Afraid?
They remember that feeling.
How can a road remember?
It isn't the road.
A long silence followed.
It's the people who built it.
Far ahead, the pathway curved sharply around the mountainside. For the first time, Zandor saw what lay beyond. He stopped walking, not because something blocked his way, because words failed him. Suspended between two sheer cliffs, an immense crystal bridge stretched into the morning mist. It possessed no visible supports, no cables, no towers, only elegant arcs of transparent crystal, flowing together as though grown rather than constructed. Beneath it, a canyon disappeared into darkness. Above it, the first rays of sunlight ignited the bridge until it seemed to float between earth and sky.
Impossible.
No, not impossible. Impossible had become an idea belonging to the old world. He stepped onto the bridge. Nothing moved, nothing trembled. The crystal accepted his weight without sound. Far below, blue light answered from depths no eye could measure. The mountain had accepted its first guardian. And somewhere beyond the bridge, the builders had prepared the next question. Zandor remained motionless upon the bridge, not because he feared falling, because every instinct he possessed told him he was standing inside something no living civilization had ever truly understood. The bridge did not feel abandoned. It felt occupied, not by people, by purpose. The crystal beneath his boots remained perfectly transparent. Faint streams of blue light moved endlessly through its interior. Countless threads crossed one another in elegant patterns, never colliding, never slowing, like rivers flowing beneath frozen glass. He slowly knelt. The polished surface reflected his face for only an instant. Then the reflection changed. His own image faded. In its place, another figure appeared, tall, slender, wrapped in robes unlike any civilization Zandor had ever encountered. The figure stood exactly where he now knelt, hands resting calmly before them, looking outward across the canyon, waiting. No sound accompanied the vision, no explanation followed. The image remained only a heartbeat before dissolving into flowing blue light once again. Not a recording, not a hologram, a memory. The bridge had not shown him information. It had shown him someone who had once stood exactly where he now stood. The realization unsettled him more than any Dominion weapon ever had. Machines recorded, machines calculated, machines obeyed. Memories belonged to living beings. A quiet pulse traveled beneath the bridge. The blue threads inside the crystal brightened, one after another, moving away from him, like a message being carried somewhere beyond the mountains. Far ahead, hidden beyond layers of crystal cliffs, ancient builder systems acknowledged the arrival of a guardian. Deep beneath the mountains, silence ruled. It had ruled here for thousands of years. No footsteps, no voices, no machines, only darkness, until now. A single beam of blue light traveled through an immense chamber. It crossed polished crystal walls without visible source. Ancient conduits awakened one after another. Massive pillars illuminated. Endless corridors slowly emerged from darkness. Not quickly, patiently, as though the city itself refused to hurry. Far beyond the chamber, an enormous circular mechanism rotated for the first time since the disappearance of the first keepers. Dust that had rested for millennia drifted silently through the air. No alarms sounded. No warning systems activated. The city recognized no threat, only a return. One doorway after another unlocked. Massive crystalline seals separated without noise. Hidden passageways opened deeper beneath the mountain. Each opening revealed another. Each corridor led toward something even older. The builders had never designed this place to impress visitors. They had designed it to guide them. The command bridge of the Oblivion Spear had become unusually quiet. Not from discipline, from uncertainty. Every Dominion officer had been trained to understand the battlefield. Today, the battlefield no longer obeyed the rules they knew.
General,
Continue.
the energy propagation has altered again.
Another increase?
No, it has become directional.
The holographic projection changed. Instead of expanding equally beneath Kheros, the blue energy now flowed toward a single destination. Every pathway, every harmonic conduit, every awakened builder system, all converged upon one point beneath the western mountains.
What is there?
We don't know.
No,
He slowly approached the display.
we simply have not arrived there yet.
For the first time since entering the Kheros system, General Vorak stopped thinking like a conqueror. He began thinking like an explorer. That frightened him more than any enemy ever had. The bridge seemed endless, not because of its length, but because time itself felt different upon it. Every footstep echoed softly through the crystal beneath Zandor's boots. The sound did not disappear. It traveled forward, as though the bridge carried each step toward something waiting beyond the mountains. He stopped once more. The crystal beneath his feet no longer reflected the morning sky. It reflected stars, thousands of them. Entire constellations drifted beneath the transparent surface. Nebulae, galaxies, worlds unknown to every modern civilization. It was as though the builders had trapped the night sky inside living crystal.
This isn't decoration.
He crouched again. One gloved hand rested gently upon the bridge. The stars beneath the crystal shifted. Not randomly, they slowly aligned themselves into recognizable patterns. Trade routes, gateway paths, ancient navigation corridors. He had never seen them before. Yet somehow his mind understood what he was seeing. Not knowledge, recognition. One constellation brightened, another faded, then a third. The entire crystal surface slowly rearranged itself until only a single brilliant point remained, far beyond every other star.
Is that?
The answer never came. The image dissolved. The bridge became transparent once more. Whatever had shown itself had decided it had revealed enough. Far behind him, the mountains quietly closed, not sealing the entrance, only narrowing it, as though protecting those who remained outside. The road had accepted a guardian. It had no reason to call another. The Ashari watched until Zandor disappeared into the morning mist. No one spoke. Every heart carried the same question. Would they ever see him again?
He didn't even look back.
No.
Shouldn't he have?
Karim smiled gently.
If he had looked back, he may never have continued.
The old keeper understood something the others did not. There are moments in every life when the future demands more courage than the past. This was one of them.
He isn't leaving us.
Then what's he doing?
He's walking ahead.
Again, no one fully understood her words, yet none dismissed them. Since the awakening, Luma no longer seemed to speak only for herself. Sometimes it felt as though Kheros whispered through her. Far beneath the mountains, another chamber awakened. Unlike the immense gateway halls, this chamber was small, circular, perfectly silent. Its walls were formed from polished crystal, unlike anything found upon the surface. Not blue, not green, almost transparent. Tiny threads of golden light flowed beneath the crystal surface, like thoughts traveling through living stone. At the center of the chamber stood a single pedestal, empty. It had remained empty for thousands of years, waiting. As the signal from the crystal road reached the chamber, the pedestal illuminated. One narrow beam of blue light descended from above, then another, then dozens. The empty air above the pedestal slowly filled with countless floating fragments of light. Not holograms, memories, waiting to become whole again. Elsewhere throughout the hidden city, thousands of identical responses unfolded. Doors unlocked, archives synchronized, power flowed through ancient conduits. Not awakening randomly, awakening in sequence. Somewhere deep beneath Kheros, An intelligence older than every living civilization quietly observed the process. It did not speak. It did not interfere. It simply confirmed that the Guardian had begun the journey.
General,
Yes.
our surveillance drones have lost visual contact.
Destroyed.
No, they simply cannot see him anymore.
The bridge officers exchanged uneasy glances. Every drone remained operational. Every sensor functioned perfectly. Yet the Guardian had vanished from every Dominion display.
The builder systems are masking him.
No.
Vorak slowly folded his hands behind his back.
They are introducing him.
For several long seconds, no one understood what their commander meant. Vorak himself was not entirely certain. Yet somewhere deep within his military instincts, he recognized a ceremony when he saw one. Whatever the builders had left behind, they were not hiding Zandor. They were welcoming him. The farther Zandor walked, the quieter the world became. Even the sound of his own breathing seemed strangely distant. It was as though the crystal road separated him from everything behind him. Not physically, emotionally. Every step carried him farther from war and deeper into history. The bridge slowly narrowed. Towering crystal cliffs rose higher with every passing minute. Morning sunlight reached the canyon floor only in scattered beams that shimmered through transparent formations suspended high above. The air grew cooler, not cold, still, ancient. Then the pathway ended, not abruptly, gracefully. The crystal blended seamlessly into polished stone unlike anything Zandor had ever encountered. It was dark, almost black. Yet faint streams of blue light flowed beneath its surface in slow, deliberate currents. The floor appeared carved from a single impossible piece. No joints, no seams, no evidence of construction.
This wasn't built.
His fingers brushed the smooth surface. It felt warm, not from heat, from life. Without warning, a circle of pale blue light appeared beneath his feet. Perfect, symmetrical. Ancient symbols slowly emerged around its edge. They did not resemble writing. They resembled mathematics. Harmony, relationships, patterns, a language designed to be understood long before it could ever be read. The circle expanded, one ring, then another, each larger than the last. The light traveled silently through the chamber floor until it disappeared into the surrounding walls. Nothing happened. For one long moment, absolutely nothing.
I don't understand.
The mountain answered, not with sound, with memory. The darkness ahead dissolved, not physically, visually. The stone itself became transparent. Beyond it, another world appeared. An enormous city stretched beneath the mountain. Crystal towers reached hundreds of meters into cavernous chambers illuminated by gentle blue sunlight that had no visible source. Suspended bridges connected impossible distances. Rivers of luminous energy flowed beneath transparent streets. Countless structures filled the underground world, none abandoned, none ruined, silent, waiting. For one impossible heartbeat, the city lived again. Figures crossed distant walkways. Children ran through open courtyards. Towering crystalline trees shimmered beneath artificial skies. Voices echoed softly through the vast chambers. Not one word could be understood, yet every conversation carried warmth, belonging, purpose.
They were alive.
The vision vanished. The city disappeared. Only silent stone remained. Zandor stood perfectly still. His heartbeat echoed loudly inside the chamber, not from fear, from loss. He had witnessed an entire civilization for only a few seconds, long enough to understand one thing. The builders had not vanished because they failed. Something had happened, something terrible. Far beneath the chamber, an ancient mechanism awakened. One enormous crystalline sphere slowly began rotating inside a chamber, hidden even deeper below. Thousands of tiny lights appeared across its surface, one after another, until the sphere resembled a night sky filled with stars. A single point of light brightened, then another, Both slowly moved toward one another. Finally, they touched. Across the hidden city, builder systems acknowledged the event. Guardian synchronization, 1%. The silence upon the Dominion flagship had become unbearable. No alarms sounded, no weapons fired, yet every officer sensed they had crossed an invisible boundary. General Vorak studied the latest builder telemetry. The numbers no longer mattered. Patterns did.
They expected someone.
General?
This was never a defense system. It is a welcome.
No one answered, because every officer secretly feared he was right. Zandor slowly looked forward. For the first time since entering the mountains, he noticed something waiting beyond the chamber. Not a city, not another bridge. A doorway, unlike any doorway ever built by human hands. It stood nearly 30 meters high. Its surface appeared carved from crystal darker than space itself. Blue harmonic light flowed endlessly across intricate geometric patterns covering every centimeter. At its center was the same symbol he had seen inside the vault, 3 concentric circles surrounding a single vertical line. The doorway had not opened. It had not spoken. It had not moved. Yet somehow Zandor understood. His journey had only just begun. Scene 24, the Crystal Archive. Knowledge was never the builder's greatest achievement. It was teaching others how to seek it. Frontier Archives, Builder Translation Records. The doorway remained motionless. Towering nearly 30 meters above the polished stone floor, it dominated the silent chamber like a fragment of the night sky carved into crystal. It reflected nothing, not the surrounding walls, not the soft blue light flowing beneath the floor, not even Zandor himself. The surface absorbed every reflection as though light simply ceased to exist within it. The 3 concentric circles at its center glowed faintly. Each pulse traveled slowly outward before disappearing into the surrounding crystal. The rhythm never changed, patient, steady, ancient, like the heartbeat of a civilization that had never truly died. Zandor remained several meters away. His hand instinctively rested near the sidearm secured to his frontier armor. Years of peacekeeper training had become second nature. Unknown structures, unknown technology, unknown civilizations. Each demanded caution before curiosity. Yet nothing about this place felt hostile.
You've been waiting.
His words faded into the chamber. No echo returned. The room absorbed sound as completely as the doorway absorbed light. Silence settled once more. Not uncomfortable, expectant, almost respectful. Behind him, the crystal road slowly dimmed, not because its energy weakened. Its task had ended. It had brought the Guardian here. The next decision belonged entirely to him. No path remained beneath his feet, only choice. He removed the glove from his right hand. The cool mountain air touched skin still marked by soot from the battle. Tiny cuts crossed his knuckles, fresh reminders that only yesterday he had stood against the Dominion. Yesterday, his greatest concern had been survival. Today, he stood before knowledge older than recorded history. Slowly, he reached forward. His fingertips hovered only centimeters from the dark crystal. For the briefest moment, he hesitated. Not because he feared what might happen, because he understood that once this moment passed, nothing about his life could ever return to what it had been.
I'm ready.
His fingers touched the crystal. Warm. Not the warmth of sunlight. Not the warmth of machinery. The warmth of recognition. The doorway knew the difference. One circle illuminated, then the second, then the third. Blue harmonic light flowed outward beneath the crystal surface in perfect symmetry. It traveled through pathways hidden inside the doorway, across unseen chambers, beyond walls, deeper into the mountain than any scanner could have measured. Nothing opened, nothing moved. For one long heartbeat, nothing happened. Then the mountain remembered. The chamber itself awakened. The polished floor beneath Zandor's feet illuminated with intricate geometric patterns. They spread outward like ripples across still water. Each line intersected another with impossible mathematical precision. No decoration, no ornament, only purpose. The surrounding crystal columns slowly brightened, one after another. Each column answered the previous one until the entire chamber shimmered beneath a soft, blue radiance. It did not feel like lights switching on. It felt like thoughts returning after a long silence. The doorway dissolved. Not by opening, not by moving. The darkness simply became transparent. Beyond it, another chamber waited. Unlike anything humanity had ever imagined, it was vast, not because of its size, because of its order. Thousands of crystal structures filled the circular chamber beyond. Each stood upon elegant pedestals arranged in perfect concentric circles around a central platform. None were identical. Every crystal glowed with its own harmonic frequency, its own color, its own rhythm, as though everyone preserved a different memory.
An archive.
Not shelves, not books, not data terminals, memories. An entire civilization preserved inside living crystal. Zandor stepped through the doorway. The instant he crossed the threshold, the silence changed. Until now, the mountain had been quiet. Here it breathed, not with air, with harmony. A constant, almost imperceptible resonance flowed through the chamber, so gentle that it could only be felt after several moments of stillness. It was neither music nor machinery. It was presence. The chamber stretched far beyond what should have been possible inside the mountain. Its walls curved outward until they disappeared into soft blue mist. The ceiling could not be seen. Crystal columns rose upward without end, fading gradually into darkness before the eye could find their summit. Light drifted between them like slow-moving streams beneath clear water. There were no visible lamps, no flames, no artificial illumination. The chamber itself produced light. Every surface appeared perfectly clean, not polished, preserved. Dust had never settled here. Time itself seemed unwilling to disturb the archive. Zandor turned slowly. His military instincts continued searching for exits, defensive positions, observation points, anything familiar. He found none. The builders had designed spaces unlike any human civilization. There was no obvious command center, no throne, no seat of authority, only circles. Every corridor curved gently. Every pathway returned naturally toward the center. The architecture invited movement, never control.
They wanted everyone to arrive together.
The thought surprised him. He had not reasoned his way toward it. The chamber itself suggested it, as though its design quietly influenced every visitor who entered. The central platform waited only a short distance ahead. Unlike the surrounding floor, it was formed from perfectly transparent crystal. Within it, tiny points of light drifted slowly through countless invisible layers. Each moved independently, yet none ever collided. The entire platform resembled a living night sky suspended beneath his feet. Resting at its center was a single crystal, smaller than those surrounding it, no larger than two hands placed together, completely transparent. Unlike every other crystal in the chamber, it emitted no light. It simply waited.
So you've been waiting too?
For several moments, nothing happened. Then the crystal responded. Not with light, with movement. Slowly it lifted from the pedestal, only a few centimeters, turning gently in the air until one narrow point faced directly toward Zandor. No force pushed it, no visible mechanism supported it. The movement possessed the effortless precision of something repeating a familiar action, one it had performed countless times before. The crystal drifted toward him, not aggressively, not cautiously, confidently, as though introductions had already taken place long ago.
Hello.
The words escaped almost involuntarily. He knew the crystal could not answer, yet remaining silent suddenly felt inappropriate. The crystal stopped before him, exactly at eye level. Its transparent surface reflected his face for only an instant. Then the reflection changed. He no longer saw himself. He saw stars, entire galaxies rotating slowly within impossible depths that could not exist inside such a small object. Countless points of light drifted through the crystal, each brighter than the last. each carrying patterns strangely familiar despite belonging to no known star chart. One star brightened, then another. Soon dozens illuminated together. They formed a spiral, then circles, then lines connecting worlds separated by unimaginable distances. Not maps, relationships.
This is knowledge.
No, not knowledge, perspective. Without warning, the crystal moved closer until it rested gently against the center of his forehead. Zandor expected pain. Instead, he felt warmth, gentle, comforting, like standing beside someone who had known him his entire life. The chamber disappeared. Light surrounded him, not blue, white, brilliant, endless. Then voices, thousands of them, speaking together, not loudly, not chaotically, perfectly harmonized. Every language, every tone, every voice, united.
What are you?
The voices did not answer. Instead, they welcomed him, not with words, with understanding. For the first time since arriving on Kheros, Zandor no longer felt like an outsider. He felt expected. Far beyond the chamber, deep within the oldest builder systems beneath Kheros, ancient synchronization processes quietly advanced. Guardian recognition confirmed. Archive link established. Primary memory access authorized. The Crystal Archive had waited thousands of years, not for an explorer, not for a conqueror, not for a scientist. It had waited for someone willing to ask the right questions. The light surrounding Zandor slowly changed. It no longer felt empty. Shapes emerged within the brilliance, not immediately, gradually, like memories returning after a lifetime of silence. He found himself standing beneath an unfamiliar sky. There were no mountains, no oceans, no cities, only endless fields of crystal stretching toward a distant horizon illuminated by a brilliant white star. The air shimmered with countless floating fragments of light, not dust, data, living information flowing silently through the atmosphere. At first, he believed he had been transported somewhere. Then he realized his feet left no footprints. The crystal grass bent beneath no weight. The wind never touched his armor. He was not standing in the past. He was standing inside a memory.
A recording.
No, not a recording. A remembrance. The difference mattered. A recording preserved events. A remembrance preserved understanding. Figures appeared upon the distant horizon, hundreds of them. They walked calmly across the crystal plains. No one hurried. No one commanded. No one followed. Each moved with quiet purpose, yet together they formed something greater than a crowd. A civilization. The Builders. For the first time, Zandor truly saw them, not as statues, not as legends, not as forgotten names buried inside ancient songs. Living, breathing, smiling. Their appearance differed from every expectation he had carried. They wore no armor, no ceremonial robes, no symbols of authority. Simple garments, woven from shimmering crystal fibers, flowed gently around them. Every individual appeared unique, yet none attempted to stand above the others. Children laughed as they ran through fields of crystal flowers. Elders paused beside them, sharing stories that required no written words. Artists shaped living crystal with gentle movements of their hands. Teachers sat beneath towering luminous trees while younger builders gathered around them, asking questions that seemed to delight rather than burden them. Everywhere, life flourished.
They weren't preparing for war.
No, they were preparing for tomorrow. The realization struck him with unexpected force. Human history measured greatness by victory. The Dominion measured greatness by conquest. The Builders measured greatness by what they left behind for those who would follow. A young builder child stopped walking. She looked directly toward Zandor. Impossible. This was only a memory. Yet her brilliant silver eyes met his with unmistakable awareness. She smiled, raised one small hand, then continued walking with her family.
Can she see me?
The memory offered no explanation, only another question. The crystal planes dissolved. The vision shifted. Now Zandor stood within an enormous circular chamber unlike any human university. Builders of every age gathered around floating crystalline spheres suspended above elegant platforms. No lectures, no speeches, only conversation. Questions passed freely between students and teachers. No one claimed ownership of knowledge. Knowledge belonged to everyone. One elder builder gently touched a floating crystal. Immediately, the chamber filled with stars. Entire galaxies unfolded before the assembled students. Not displayed, experienced. Every learner walked among the stars themselves, discovering, questioning, understanding. Then the vision changed again. A builder child reached toward one unfamiliar constellation. The elder smiled, not because the child knew the answer, because the child had asked the right question.
A civilization grows stronger every time one child asks a question no one has asked before.
The words echoed through the memory, simple, gentle. Yet they carried greater power than any military command Zandor had ever received. The vision expanded once more. Cities, gardens, archives, observatories, great crystalline gateways linking distant worlds. Everywhere, builders traveled not as conquerors, but as teachers, helping younger civilizations solve their own problems instead of solving them for them. Zandor watched in complete silence. Everything the Dominion believed about power, everything humanity believed about progress, and everything he himself had accepted without question began quietly changing.
You built hope.
The memory answered, not with pride, with humility.
No, we protected the opportunity for others to build their own.
Those words reached deeper than any weapon ever could. The builders had not tried to shape the galaxy into their own image. They had tried to ensure every civilization could discover its own future. The light surrounding Zandor slowly brightened. The memory was ending. Yet one final image remained. An enormous map of the galaxy appeared before him. Countless stars glowed across its surface, some bright, some dark, many missing entirely. One by one, the lights began disappearing. Not because the map was changing, because history had.
What happened to you?
For the first time, the archive hesitated, almost as though, even after thousands of years, that question still carried pain. The stars continued disappearing, one by one. Entire regions of the great galactic map slowly faded into darkness, not suddenly, patiently, as though centuries passed between every light that vanished. The archive offered no explanation. It showed no battles, no armies, no weapons, only absence. The silence carried greater sorrow than any image of war ever could. Zandor watched the final light disappear. Soon only a handful of stars remained, scattered across an ocean of darkness.
You lost.
No voice answered. The archive never confirmed the thought. Yet the emptiness surrounding those final stars said enough. Something had happened, something capable of silencing the greatest civilization the galaxy had ever known. Then one remaining star began shining brighter than all the others. It did not belong to the center of the map. It lay far beyond the ancient builder worlds, small, unremarkable, almost overlooked. The archive slowly enlarged the region. The brilliant point separated into a familiar yellow star. 8 worlds circled quietly around it. One blue world, one home.
Earth.
The image remained motionless. No explanation followed. Only the unmistakable certainty that humanity had occupied a place within builder history long before humans ever dreamed of reaching the stars. Another point of light appeared. Not a planet, a vessel. It drifted silently through the darkness surrounding Earth's system. Unlike every Dominion ship Zandor had ever encountered, its outline inspired no fear, only curiosity. The vessel remained too distant to identify. Its shape blurred beneath the flowing light of the archive, yet one symbol briefly illuminated across its hull. 3 concentric circles surrounding a single vertical line. The same mark that had greeted Zandor throughout Kheros.
I know that symbol.
The vision dissolved before he could move closer. The archive would reveal no more. Not yet. The brilliant white light surrounding him slowly faded. The stars disappeared. The crystal planes vanished. The voices became distant, until only the quiet chamber remained. Zandor found himself standing exactly where he had begun. His hand still rested gently upon the floating archive crystal. No more than a few seconds had passed, yet it felt as though he had walked through centuries. The crystal drifted slowly back toward its pedestal. Before returning to its resting place, it paused. One final pulse of soft blue light passed through the chamber. The surrounding archive crystals answered in perfect harmony. Not loudly, almost like a quiet welcome. Across the immense circular chamber, hundreds of dormant crystals illuminated for the briefest instant, then faded once more. They had acknowledged him, not as a visitor, as someone expected.
What am I supposed to do now?
For the first time, the archive answered. Not with a voice, not with another memory. A single pathway illuminated beyond the chamber. One narrow corridor, leading deeper beneath the mountains. Nothing else moved. No doors opened, no instructions appeared, only a road. The builders had never believed knowledge should command, knowledge should invite. The next decision would always belong to the one who sought it. Zandor looked back once, toward the chamber he had just left, toward the silent crystals, toward the memories of a civilization that had refused to tell him what to think. Instead, they had shown him enough to ask better questions.
I'm listening.
He stepped into the illuminated corridor. Behind him, the crystal archive slowly dimmed, not because it had become dormant again, because another archive had just awakened. Somewhere farther beneath the mountains, another question waited. History remembers civilizations by the monuments they leave behind. The frontier archives remember them by the questions they inspire long after they are gone. Scene 25, the last record. A final message is never written for those who are gone. It is written for those who may still choose differently. Frontier Archives, Builder Extinction Records. The illuminated corridor waited beyond the crystal archive. It was narrower than the chamber Zandor had left behind. Not confined, focused. The builders had designed this path for one purpose: to lead the seeker forward without distraction. The floor beneath his boots was dark crystal. Thin lines of pale blue light moved through it in slow waves, illuminating the next section only when he approached. Behind him, the light faded, not sealing the way back, simply refusing to reveal more than one step at a time.
One question at a time.
The corridor responded with a gentle pulse. Whether it understood his words or merely recognized their meaning, he could not tell. The memories shown inside the archive remained vivid. Builder children beneath luminous trees, teachers surrounded by stars, cities built around learning rather than authority, a civilization that measured greatness by what others might become, and then the darkness, worlds disappearing, entire regions of the galaxy falling silent, Earth remaining as one of the final lights. A distant vessel bearing the same symbol that now followed him through Kheros. Zandor had entered the archive searching for answers. He had left carrying heavier questions.
What happened to you?
The corridor offered no reply, only another section of light. He continued deeper. The harmonic resonance of the crystal archive faded behind him until only the sound of his footsteps remained. Each one seemed too loud, too temporary. A human presence moving through a place built to outlast civilizations. The walls began to change. Faint impressions appeared beneath the crystal surface. Lines, figures, structures, not carved images, memories held just beyond visibility. As Zandor passed, they briefly awakened. A builder hand resting upon a child's shoulder. A group standing together beneath unfamiliar stars. A crystal gateway opening over a distant ocean. A city filled with light. Then darkness again. The corridor did not display history in order. It revealed fragments, moments the builders had considered worth preserving. Not their greatest victories, not their most advanced inventions. Relationships, promises, departures, returns.
You remembered people.
A soft pulse moved through the walls. Human archives preserved leaders, wars, treaties, and boundaries. The builders had preserved the moment someone chose kindness, the moment a student understood, and the moment a traveler returned home. Their history was not organized around power. It was organized around meaning. The corridor curved downward. The descent was almost imperceptible at first, then steeper. The polished walls narrowed around him, guiding him deeper beneath the mountain. Far beyond the reach of sunlight, far beyond any Ashari path. His armor displayed no reliable depth. The instruments recalculated continuously. Every result contradicted the last. The geometry around him did not conform to the mountain above.
This chamber shouldn't fit here.
The corridor widened in response. Zandor stopped. For a moment he wondered whether the system was reacting to his words. Then the final wall ahead became transparent. Beyond it lay a chamber unlike the archive. Smaller, darker, personal. One circular platform stood at its center. No surrounding crystals, no endless columns, no pathways leading elsewhere. Only a single chair formed from dark, translucent stone. And before it, one suspended sphere of pale white light. The chamber did not feel like a library. It felt like a room where someone had waited alone.
The last record.
The words came before understanding, yet the certainty behind them was absolute. This chamber had not been built for teaching. It had been built for farewell. Zandor stepped inside. The doorway behind him remained open. The builders had never trapped the seeker. Even here, choice remained sacred. The pale sphere brightened. A single figure slowly formed within it. At first only an outline, then shoulders, hands, a face shaped by age and exhaustion. A builder, not idealized, not preserved at the height of strength. This one looked tired, older than any figure Zandor had seen in the archive memories. Silver light moved faintly beneath translucent skin. Dark robes hung loosely from a body weakened by time. The builder sat in the chair before him, not as a ruler, not as a commander, as someone who had carried responsibility for too long.
You were here.
The image lifted its head. Its eyes opened and looked directly at him.
If this record has awakened, then the silence has ended.
Zandor did not move. Every other memory had unfolded without acknowledging his presence. This one felt different, prepared, directed, waiting for a listener.
You are not of our people. You may not know our language. You may not know our name. Perhaps your civilization has forgotten that we ever existed.
The elder's expression softened, not with sadness, with acceptance.
That is as it should be.
Why?
The recording continued. It could not hear him, yet the question had been anticipated.
No civilization should live forever beneath the shadow of another. Those who follow us must be free to become more than our reflection.
The builder looked down at their hands. Long fingers trembled slightly.
We believed knowledge could protect every future. We believed understanding would always overcome fear. We were wrong.
The chamber dimmed. Behind the builder elder, a field of stars appeared. Thousands of worlds, countless pathways of light connecting them. The same vast network Zandor had seen inside the crystal archive.
We opened roads between civilizations. We preserved their memories. We taught worlds to speak across distances once thought impossible.
The elder paused. The connected stars continued glowing behind them.
And through those roads, something found us.
One star went dark, then another. Then an entire line of connected worlds vanished.
What found you?
The builder elder's eyes lowered. For the first time, fear entered the recording. Not panic. The quiet fear of someone who had finally understood the scale of what was coming.
We do not know its first name. We do not know where it began. We know only what it leaves behind.
The starfield continued fading.
Silence.
The final word remained in the chamber long after the elder stopped speaking. Zandor watched the extinguished worlds. The Dominion had destroyed cities. It had conquered systems. But this had erased connections, histories, and civilizations so completely that even their names had disappeared.
We called it many things: the unmaking, the empty voice, the darkness between thought.
The elder looked directly toward the future listener.
Names did not help us understand it. They only helped us fear it together.
A new image appeared behind the builder, a vast crystalline network spanning thousands of systems, every connection collapsing inward, gateways closing, archives sealing, worlds disappearing behind barriers of light.
So we broke our own roads. We silenced our gateways. We divided the archive. We hid what could still be protected.
Kheros appeared among the final surviving lights, small, distant, wrapped in layers of harmonic distortion, hidden not behind walls but behind forgetfulness.
This world was chosen because it listened.
Kheros.
It could preserve memory without becoming consumed by it. It could wait without surrendering hope.
The image of Kheros brightened. Within it, a network of crystals spread through the planet like a living mind.
We gave it fragments, not answers, never answers.
The elder leaned forward. Their weakening voice became more deliberate.
Answers become laws. Laws become cages. Questions leave room for choice.
The words echoed through every chamber Zandor had crossed. They explained the roads, the archive, the memories, and the refusal to command. The builders had preserved knowledge carefully because they had learned what happened when knowledge became control.
If you are hearing this, then Kheros has chosen to remember. And if Kheros remembers, then the threat we buried may also be moving again.
The white sphere flickered. For the first time, the recording showed signs of damage. The builder elder's image fractured into lines of pale light.
No.
He stepped closer, as though distance could preserve a message recorded thousands of years before his birth.
You will want instructions. You will want certainty. You will want us to tell you what must be done.
The elder managed a tired smile.
We cannot.
Then why leave this?
Because you must know that we failed.
The honesty struck harder than any grand revelation. The builders had not left a declaration of greatness. They had left a confession.
We were not gods. We were not infallible. We were only people who reached farther than our wisdom could follow.
The recording destabilized again. The stars behind the elder vanished. Only the chair and the solitary figure remained.
If your people repeat our choices, you may inherit our ending.
The elder lifted one trembling hand. A small symbol appeared above the palm. 3 concentric circles around a single vertical line.
This mark does not mean authority. It does not mean ownership. It means responsibility.
The symbol expanded. Within its 3 rings appeared 3 different images: a world, a memory, and a living being.
Protect the living. Preserve the truth. Leave the future free.
The symbol moved slowly toward Zandor. It passed through the recording boundary and hovered in the real chamber before him. No longer only an image, a functioning projection responding across thousands of years.
If you accept this path, you will not become our successor.
The elder's gaze seemed to sharpen.
You must become better than we were.
The symbol stopped before Zandor's chest. The blue energy lines in his armor responded, not automatically, waiting. The system had reached a boundary. It would not continue without consent.
And if I refuse?
For one impossible moment, the builder elder appeared to look directly into his eyes.
Then the choice remains yours.
The recording froze. The symbol remained suspended between them. No warning, no punishment, no prophecy demanding obedience. The builders had preserved their final message without preserving their authority. Even at the edge of extinction, they refused to command the future. Zandor looked at the symbol. Protect the living, preserve the truth, leave the future free. He thought of the Ashari refugees, of Luma listening to the mountains, of Kyle staring upward as the stars became ships, of Elder Karam standing between his people and despair, of General Vorak, a man capable of destruction who had still chosen, however briefly, to wait. Then he thought of Earth. The distant blue world shone within the archive. Humanity connected to a history it had forgotten.
I accept the responsibility.
The symbol moved forward. It entered the armor without resistance. Blue light spread across every damaged plate. The scars of battle remained, but beneath them, the armor awakened. The Builder Elder's frozen image moved once more. A final breath, a final message.
Then you are not the last of us.
The recording began to collapse. The Elder's face fragmented into countless points of light. Their chair dissolved. The chamber behind them disappeared.
You are the first of what comes next.
The image vanished. The symbol resting within Zandor's armor pulsed once. Not brightly, not forcefully, simply present. The chamber no longer felt like an ancient ruin. It felt as though it had finally completed the purpose for which it had waited across countless generations. For several long moments, nothing moved. The silence surrounding him had changed once again. Earlier, it had carried memory. Now, it carried expectation. The Builder Elder's final words echoed quietly within his thoughts. You are not the last of us. You are the first of what comes next. Those words were not a command. They were a responsibility.
I don't know if I'm ready.
The chamber offered no reassurance. The builders had never promised certainty, only choice. A soft harmonic pulse traveled through the crystal floor. The empty chair where the elder had sat slowly dissolved into shimmering blue particles before becoming transparent once more. Nothing remained. Not a monument, not a memorial, only an empty space. The builders had preserved their knowledge, not themselves. The narrow passage beyond the chamber slowly illuminated, one section at a time, never revealing more than the next few steps. The path seemed almost alive. Patiently waiting, Zandor understood every archive, every road, every memory, every question. They all shared the same lesson. The future could never be given. It had to be chosen. Behind him, the archive remained awake. Thousands of crystalline memories continued their silent conversation beneath the mountain. The knowledge of an entire civilization still endured, not hidden, protected, waiting for every future guardian who might one day arrive. Across countless chambers, ancient builder systems synchronized. The guardian had accepted the first responsibility. The sequence continued. Archive 1, complete. Archive 2, awaiting guardian. Far above, the Ashari watched the fading evening sky. The blue veins of light spreading through the mountains had grown brighter since sunrise. Even the oldest among them admitted they had never witnessed anything like it.
They're changing.
No,
They're waking.
The elder smiled gently.
they were always awake. We are simply learning how to see them.
Luma slowly opened her eyes. The singing crystal hovered motionless above her hands. Its steady glow reflected within her turquoise eyes.
He heard them.
The builders?
She nodded.
They've been waiting for a very long time.
No one questioned her. After everything Kheros had revealed, some truths no longer required explanation. The holographic image of Kheros rotated silently before General Vorak. One builder structure after another illuminated across the planetary surface. Hidden networks previously invisible to Dominion sensors now revealed themselves. Not fully, only enough to suggest something far larger beneath the mountains.
General,
Continue.
the harmonic network has expanded beyond every projected model.
Can we stop it?
Silence settled across the bridge. Vorak watched the glowing planet without answering immediately.
No,
No?
we were never meant to stop it.
No officer understood what their commander meant. Vorak himself was no longer certain, yet every instinct he possessed told him one unavoidable truth. The Dominion had not begun this story. It had merely arrived in the middle of it. Zandor took another step into the illuminated passage, then another. Behind him, the chamber containing the last record slowly disappeared into darkness. Ahead, the mountain opened once more, deeper, older, closer to the heart of the builder world. History would remember the battles fought upon Kheros. The frontier archives would remember something different, that the fate of civilizations changed not when armies marched, but when one person chose to keep walking.
If you enjoyed this archive, leave a like. It helps more explorers discover our story. Subscribe and join us for the next chapter. Another archive is waiting.